That's what we were talking about. Risacher to Capella. Oh, baby. A little French pastry.
Atlanta Hawks coach Quinn Snyder said, "I've tried to kind of articulate what I think is the reality of the situation. You know, we literally won the lottery." That is some high praise coming from Coach Snyder about his team's first overall pick, and that is now the reality for Zaccharie Risacher. Zaccharie Risacher is widely recognized by those tracking top European basketball prospects and was chosen as the #1 pick in the 2024 draft. His combination of size and versatility has established him as one of the best and most valuable prospects of his class, with scouts confident that his skills will transition smoothly to the NBA. However, this 2024 NBA draft class is one of the weakest in recent years, and it's likely that these concerns have been noticed by franchise owners. Even if the 2024 draft class lacks the talent or depth of recent years, there will still be players who emerge and make an immediate impact in the NBA. Zaccharie hopes to be one of those standout players, but the question remains, does his skill set justify being chosen as the #1 pick in the draft? Is it worth it for an NBA team to spend an entire season tanking just to select him? This is a key topic of debate, especially with the recent rise of Victor Wembanyama, which has put French basketball back in the global spotlight. The excitement around Spurs center Victor Wembanyama led the NBA to feature his games with Metropolitan's 92 on the League Pass menu. Since joining the NBA, Wembanyama has shown that his success in one of Europe's top basketball leagues has translated seamlessly to the NBA, and he's thriving. Interestingly, it's remarkable that the #2 pick in the 2024 draft was also French, with Alex Sarr from Perth also was in the conversation. Sarr, a 7-foot center currently was playing for the Perth Wildcats in the NBL, stands out for his impressive mobility. Despite being only 18 years old, Zaccharie Risacher, who was projected a few spots lower in mock drafts, has already been part of the rotation for one of the top teams in the French league. His team had reached the Eurocup for the 3rd consecutive time, and these continental competitions offer young players valuable experience, allowing them to improve by playing at an elite European level before entering the NBA. While the Eurocup's style of play differs from the NBA, performing well in these competitions at such a young age often indicates that players are ready for greater challenges, just like Luka Doncic, who excelled at Real Madrid before his NBA success. Zaccharie had a tough time early last season, especially when driving to the hoop. During the first few months of competition, he experienced a significant slump in his transition to professional basketball. His shots weren't falling, and his offensive output wasn't enough to rank him among the top prospects for the draft. In his first 8 games in the BET Click Elite this past season, he only made 5 of his 33-point attempts, or 16%. However, in the final months, he turned things around, hitting 27 of 56 three-pointers in the domestic league, an impressive 48%. Looking at his Eurocup averages, Zacharie's performance has been far more impressive this past season. He made 50% of his shots from the field and 45% of his three-pointers, showing that his best scoring games have come against stronger competition. During the BetClick Elite regular season, he averaged 9.5 points per game as his team's 4th leading scorer. However, his scoring increased to 11.3 points per game in the Eurocup, making him the team's 2nd leading scorer, and rose even further to 13.6 points per game in the 2 playoff games. Zacharie's quick adaptation to elite European basketball helped him rise in mock drafts, with some agencies even considering him the best player in the entire draft. This isn't an exaggeration. CBS Sports, AP News, and Bleacher Nation all projected him as the #2 pick, while Yahoo Sports had him as the top overall pick, and he ended up as the #1 pick. Despite this, Zaccharie is mainly seen as a defensive prospect, a player type that teams don't typically draft at the top. So what sets him apart? How do you describe the style of a player like him, who doesn't have many comparisons in NBA history? One thing is certain: Zaccharie should have no problem adjusting to the physical demands of the NBA. However, what stands out most when watching him isn't his athleticism, but his exceptional game awareness and basketball IQ. Zaccharie rarely loses focus or finds himself out of position. His high basketball IQ sets him apart from other prospects with similar technical skills. This strong understanding of the game is largely influenced by his father, Zaccharie Risacher, a former player and member of the French Basketball Hall of Fame. It's interesting to see a player considered a defensive prospect without having elite athleticism, but Zaccharie stands out for several reasons. First, his ability to defend players with very different skill sets is remarkable. At 6 feet 9 inches, he has shown great versatility, defending both perimeter players and power forwards. His lateral quickness and basketball IQ have enabled him to be the primary defender against some of the top players in the French league, regardless of their position. Although he's not an exceptional rebounder, his instincts make him a strong presence in disrupting passing lanes. This past season, Zaccharie nearly doubled his average steals per game, increasing from 0.5 to 0.9. Additionally, his improved rim protection allowed him to average 0.3 blocks per game, which is notable given his limited minutes and the differences between European and NBA play. In today's NBA, where the pace and space era dominates, every coach is seeking versatile defenders who can switch on nearly any screen, as modern offenses often aim to exploit mismatches. Zacharie's defensive skills make him highly valuable in this context. The challenge becomes even greater for opponents when a 6'9" player like Zaccharie can defend guards with ease, turning a potential defensive mismatch into an offensive advantage. While he's primarily seen as a defensive prospect, no player would be considered for such a high draft position without showing offensive potential as well. Zaccharie is a player who could be classified as a 3-and-D type, with his three-point shooting being the most significant offensive weapon in his skill set. Zaccharie has shown potential to be more than just a typical wing player, offering both depth and size. He excels as a catch-and-shoot player with a smooth, polished shooting form and good speed. His shooting mechanics are solid, and he's a keen student of the game. Impressively, he can still successfully execute catch-and-shoot plays, even when receiving difficult or off-target passes. Zaccharie has demonstrated qualities that make him a far more dangerous player than just a shooter. His ball handling skills are particularly impressive, resembling those of an elite perimeter player. He handles the ball with confidence, allowing him to drive into the paint in favorable situations. While he may not have the most explosive first step, his solid top-end speed, combined with his size, enables him to finish near the rim and keep defenders at bay. Zacharie's technical skills also allow him to use various finishing moves, and most importantly, he leverages these abilities to create his own shot effectively. His sidestep is particularly dangerous, and he's capable of shooting off the dribble from the perimeter, an essential skill for becoming a strong scorer in the NBA. He has excellent footwork and balance when setting up for shots. Additionally, he's a great off-ball player, able to make smart cuts and finish at the rim, while also balancing the offense with his positioning on the weak side. Although Zacharie's playmaking shows a lot of potential, it's still a work in progress. If he can develop this part of his game, he could become one of the most versatile players in the draft. It's not that his playmaking ability doesn't exist. It's just he hasn't fully matured yet. Last season in France's under-21 league, he averaged 4.4 assists per game in 31 minutes. And considering that the criteria for assists in Europe is stricter than in the US, this area of his game could significantly improve once he arrives in the NBA. So which NBA team could use a player like him? The truth is, there are many potential fits for Zaccharie. Zaccharie is likely to become an elite role player quickly in the NBA, and his floor as a prospect is fairly high. His skills make him an ideal secondary player who can fit into almost any offensive system. He was a strong contender for the top spot in the draft, and after the lottery, the Hawks seemed like a good fit. However, his versatile style would likely work well with nearly any team. While his current skills will translate well to the NBA, it's his potential to develop as a playmaker that could ultimately determine how high his ceiling goes. In today's basketball, wings are often expected to run the offense in various situations, and Zaccharie has all the tools to develop into that type of player. While his current skill set might not be what you'd typically expect from a top draft pick, his versatility and potential are remarkable, giving him the ability to grow significantly in this area. So, how is he doing so far? Well, he's not doing so bad as of now. In his first game with the Hawks, he only shot 2 of 8 from the field, but he scored 7 points and opened with a 3. It will take a while for him to get comfortable, but with his potential, has a chance to become one of the better players in the league. So, what do you guys think? Does Risacher have what it takes to become a great player? Let us know in the comments. And if you liked this video, hit like, subscribe, and turn on that bell notification. See you next time.